On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review some more Transformers Cyberverse episodes. We get a peek at the cover Livio Ramondelli is working on for Transformers vs. the Terminator, and Transformers Earth Wars offers a special Australia Fire Relief bundle. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2020, and this is episode 165 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that thinks Optimus Prime makes an excellent Captain Kirk. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how you doing?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Captain's log. Let's talk Transformers.
Thank you, Daryl.
You're welcome.
All right. As always, we start off by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely, lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. And this week, we welcome our newest Donatreon, Ron. Thank you, Ron, for adding your name to our ranks and adding your money to our bank account. We appreciate it. Thank you. And we hope you enjoy all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities that come with being a Transmissions Donatreon. And we hope to see you.
What responsibilities?
Continuing to send us money every month.
All right, one responsibility.
And we hope to see you on the Discord. Come join the Discord and hang out, listen to the show live. And if you'd like to join the ranks of our Donatreons, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's where you can get links to our Patreon and PayPal donation buttons. Another way to contribute to the show is to buy Transmissions merchandise, and you can do that at our TeePublic store, which is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. We also encourage you to check out our friend K-Girl store at tpublic.com/user/superstark. She's an awesome artist, and she has done lots of artwork for us in the past, so we always want to encourage you to support her as well. And this week we have a giant TeePublic sale that's 35% off everything at the TeePublic store, which means t-shirts are $13. And this is going on from January 22nd through 26th. All through this weekend, you can pick up everything at 35% off. So go to our link, transmissionspodcast.com/shop. That helps us out, and you can get all the stuff at a significant discount. So you don't just have to buy Transmissions shirts or merchandise. You can buy anything through our link. So check it out. Help us out. All right, let's start off Transmissions Alt Mode and talk about some comics news. So first, we've got some artwork from Livio Ramondelli showing off the work in progress of his Transformers versus Terminator cover. So it's just a little image, but you can see the process. It looks like it's still getting worked on, but it gives us a nice detail of that Terminator skull there. The endoskeleton of the Terminator. So I think this is right up Livio's alley. So nice to see him working on the covers. Of course, Alex Milne is doing the interiors for that series, so we are all excited about that. But Livio on covers is also cool. Next bit of news is we've got covers for Transformers Galaxies issue 4. This is the cover B art from Sarah Peter Durocher. So this is Devastator in her style. She tweeted out both the cover image and the basically naked cover image with none of the text on it. So it's very cool. Sarah is an awesome artist, so having her take on Devastator is awesome. Really hope we get to read the book at some point in the future.
Well, the
Galaxy.
The iTunes preview came out, so that's generally a 2-week sign.
I hope so. I'm crossing my fingers, but
This is saying January 29th, so somewhere around then. They didn't put a year.
They also Transformers 16 is supposed to be out. Are we going to get 2 Transformers books in a single week?
But
I don't
16
know.
is supposed to be out next week.
But this
There's nothing out.
this date
next
is
week.
from a Tyler Blazinski tweet. So
Okay. Well, he also tweeted when it was coming out January 2nd. and
someone replied with a Previews World thing that says February 19th. So who knows?
Oh man.
Maybe we'll get
man.
it. Maybe we won't.
IDW, what are you doing to us? Why are these books so late?
This is why they should just go ahead with their schedule, release the digital versions when they want to release them.
Yeah, this is getting pretty frustrating, but we definitely want to have Tyler Blazinski back on to do our post-mortem wrap up of the Constructicons Rising story, since it resonated so well with people last year, and people, even though we were missing the last issue, it got a lot of votes for best of the year in comics for our survey. So yeah, come on, issue 4. hopefully 2 weeks. Cross our fingers. All right, that's all the comics news. So let's move on to our review for this week.
All right. So for our review this week, we don't have a comic, so we're going to talk about the final 4 episodes of Transformers Season 2 of Cyberverse. This is episodes 15, 16, 17, and 18. And this is going to wrap up all of Season 2. So we're just going to dive right in here. When last we spoke about the Cyberverse crew, they were leaving on a journey to Cybertron. The Decepticons had destroyed the space bridge, and they were just gonna have to fly the distance, or I guess is it called flying if you're in space? I don't know. They're just gonna have to travel the distance between worlds. So they're basically a lot of one-shot episodes in here, because they're literally just traveling, and it's like it's in real time here. It's kind of interesting. You get a bunch of different one-off episodes. So starting off with episode 15, it's called Wiped Out, and this is one of those one-off episodes. It starts off with Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Cheetor, who are just bored, really super bored, and they see that they are traveling through an asteroid field, and one of the crew members mentions that there's they've corrected for the solar winds, and Bumblebee and Hot Rod perk up, and they're going to go out solar surfing, which is a thing, I guess. So that's kind of interesting. And they go out, and Cheetor's like, "Where are you going?" So he joins in. And you get to see them having a good time. They're just, they're out there literally surfing on this solar wind trail, which it's cartoons, right? So whatever. Cheetor had never done it before, so there's some funny little mishaps that happen. He finally figures it out that he has to do it in cat mode, and then I guess the 4 legs help. They come across a bunch of busted up pieces of what look like a face, and they put them all together, and then they find out that there's a world that's living out here. It's the world of, essentially, it's never name checked, but it's the world of the Sharkticons, and it's all 3 of them get separated, and each one of them ends up with a different gang, and one of them, and they all meet up in this park. They're going to have a rumble each one of them has taken one of these Autobots as their kind of warrior, and they're going to kind of battle for this small piece of land that they have still out there in space. So you've got these three gangs. You've got the fins, the tails, and the snouts, and they've all they're all got different colored war paint, but essentially they're the same characters. It's kind of fun. They're all worshiping this statue of Lord Gnaw, and it's kind of fun. So they have a little bit of a battle, and then they the Autobots that are the three of them that are there decide that they're going to leave them they're going to try and bring them together, and because they are one people, but they're battling in these different gangs. At the end of the episode, they use the Allspark to bring their world back together, kinda, and they all live in harmony now. So that's kind of fun. Do you guys want to talk about this one a bit? What did you guys think, Charles?
This was a fun episode. This was a new take on the Sharkticons, which I thought was cool, like giving the Sharkticons a little personality. As you mentioned, it's cartoons. That's not how solar winds work. Right. But it's fine. But yeah, I mean, this I would rate this as kind of my least favorite of these 4 episodes, but it was still fun. I do like putting together Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Cheetor. They seem to go well together. They're kind of like 3 aspects of the same character.
Yes,
so it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy.
I agree. This was the weakest of the 4 episodes, but it was still a little fun. I'm happy that they didn't break into song, because the whole like the Jets or the Sharks, I got a West Side Story vibe from
for
this,
sure,
with like Sharks and the Jets and that. And, but I feel like this is something that will, like, later on, they're probably gonna come back and play a role in something in the future. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a one-off episode. I thought it was fine.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of things that we're going to find out with these one-off episodes is that we're probably going to find is what you just said, is each one of them is probably contributing one small piece to the ongoing story, but hasn't actually been implemented yet. So we've met the Sharkticons here. And then the next couple episodes, they're all going to contribute another little bit that may end up being a contributing part to season 3 or beyond.
Yeah, I do like that they worshipped Lord Gnaw.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch.
All right. Episode 16 is called Ghost Town. And this one starts off pretty ominously. It's got Hot Rod and Bumblebee walking, and Windblade passes them, and she is in the process of stealing the Allspark. And she literally just walks past them, walks out of the ship, and flies off ship and goes towards a planet. We then see the show goes towards Starscream, who's in a cell still. He's talking with Teletran, and Teletran is talking to him like a psychiatrist would, trying to get to the bottom of his evil plans and why he does things the way he does. The storyline with Starscream is kind of wrapped up really quickly. Teletran wants to trust Starscream, so he incrementally increases the size of his cell to show trust, and Starscream notices that just on the other side of the cell is a grate that he could get through. So he tricks Teletran into giving him a little bit more space, which includes the grate now, and then he ends up in the ventilation of the ship. So we'll check back with Starscream at the end. But as far as Windblade goes, it turns out Windblade, the crew Optimus and Hot Rod and two others. I know Bumblebee's in there, but and Cheetor, obviously Cheetor, follow Windblade to the planet surface, and she's trying to get into something, and it turns out that it's a building, and they find that Windblade is actually being possessed by a Titan, and this Titan is named Croatan, and he's a Titan. He's huge. So you get a whole bunch of story here just dumped on you about where Croatan came from, how long he's been here, where the planet's inhabitants went. And it's a big info dump, and it's all being spoken through Windblade. So that's a big check back to the comments the comics, that she's a city speaker, and she can communicate for this Titan. So it's very cool that they did that. And basically the Titan is now leaving to go and find his people who are no longer on the planet. So he erupts from the planet's surface and lets the Autobots out of him and leaves. And as he leaves the planet, he flies by Starscream, who's in the process of escaping the ship. And I believe, I can't remember if Starscream actually stays stuck to him, or he actually just gets bumped off and floats away in space. But either way, Starscream is out and escaped from the Autobots now. What do you guys think of this one here? This one, I think, probably would have appealed to you guys both the most out of these last four, because there's so much info in this one. Charles?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely really appreciated this one, especially all the nods to the IDW comics. I mean, the fact that you have Windblade as a city speaker, you have this Cybertronian colony, and I thought the design for Croatan was really nice when he turns into a robot mode. So this ticked all the boxes for me. I believe Starscream does get caught in like Croatan, like he gets.
I think so.
So when Croatan flies away, he's hitching a ride basically.
Okay.
Though I guess the one thing I kind of thought that part was a little bit they needed a little to flesh out they don't have a lot of time in these episodes, but I thought it was weird how Starscream just escapes and no one else notices. Like Teletran doesn't alert anybody else on the ship. Nobody even mentions it in the next episodes. I mean, Starscream's gone and they're like, it's like they don't even notice. So
right.
That felt kind of weird. But I'm sure it's setting up something for season 3 with probably Croatan will come back. I hope Starscream doesn't somehow take control of him or something, but I'm sure he'll be back to cause trouble in the following season. Mm-hmm. I did like the whole like has Windblade turned evil, and you know she was very aggressive in her possessed state. So that was cool to see that.
Yeah, but one thing I did notice in kind of looking at it as knowing the end of the episode this time, is she never actually drew her sword on the Autobots. She just kept using her turbines to kind of push them back, right? Yeah, so that was it was like it was non-lethal kind of, she just didn't want to hurt them. She just, I guess the Croatan who was in charge of her mind, knew that these were friends and didn't want to hurt her friends. He just wanted to, get powered up and get out of there.
Yeah, so. Or it could just be like leading them all to where he could talk to them.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What was your thoughts of the episode, Jeremy?
I really did enjoy this. I thought it was a great episode. I was at first like concerned with like what they were doing with Windblade, and then when they revealed that it was this whole city speaker thing, I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the Starscream thing is going to come back, and I would think that maybe Starscream is going to try to connive, like use his like twisting of the truth and stuff to kind of mess with Proton, try to get him on his side. One thing I noticed here on the wiki about the episode is that I missed in the flashback, Croton appeared to have been attacked by a Quintesson ship.
Oh.
So I missed that, but we know Quintessons are coming. They're in the toys already.
Sure.
Or as Wheeljack says, Quintesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was more of what I was hoping to see in these episodes.
Right on. All right, moving on to episode 17. This one's called Perfect Storm. And this one is about RC and Grimlock. So the previous two have been basically Hot Rod and Bumblebee and Cheetor. But this one is completely different. You hardly ever see the other ones. This is RC and Grimlock. And they start off the episode and it is boring on the ship. They have nothing to do. They're literally just, sailing through deep space. There's nothing out there. And they decide, you know what? We're just going to leave. We're going to take a shuttle and we're going to go off and have ourselves a little adventure. So they leave. They come back finally from their little adventure and they're like, that was boring. Nothing out here. There's no excitement out here at all. And they finally get back to the ship and they go in and all the power in the ship is dead. There's no power for anything, including their crewmates. So everyone is just in kind of a standby mode, they say. They can't find a way to restart the ship. And they start to notice that stuff's coming at them. So they're trying to figure out how to restart the ship. And they see that they have it's a flock of air hammers is the name of what they call them. It's a space bird. And these things are coming right towards the ship. And Grimlock mentions that they're known for having the hardest metal for their head in the entire galaxy, and they can tear right through a ship. Oh, and they're coming right for us. Oh, fantastic. They have no shields, so they have to figure out a way to get their shields up. But they can't. So they figure out a way to get them to lead them away from the ship. And that's done very cleverly. And they say, oh, now that those are gone, that's weird that we would see those because usually they're running from comets. And then comets start to pummel the ship. And so they decide to, the only way we can kind of clear the way for the comets is to just blast them out of the way, but we don't have any power, so we're just going to have to go stand on the front of the ship and blast them. And for me personally, this gets one of the best images out of the entire season, which is it's an image of RC just blasting with the biggest gun you've ever seen, and I just love it. And so basically Grimlock and RC are just firing on these comets as they're coming in, and they clear the path for their ship. And then they get back in the ship and they're like, that was weird. Usually you don't see comets unless they're usually the first thing that's coming before you get a blast wave from a supernova. And then they're like, oh shit, there's a supernova. They don't say oh shit, but that's what they're thinking.
Oh shit, what we're gonna do now?
Motherfucker. But no, that's so they're trying to figure out, now there's nothing they can do. They have to get the shields up, and they don't know what they're doing because they can't blast it. They can't lead a supernova away. They have to get the shields up, and they find that Teletran X is actually outside of the ship and he's powered. So he's trying to get back in, and they let him in, and he immediately knows how to turn the power back on and gets everyone back up. I don't know. The one hole in this thing is he presses a button to power up the ship and it powers up all the other crew members too. I don't understand how that happens, but it's a cartoon. So the power comes on, the shields come on, they are able to go through the supernova, and everything's good. So they are, and then nobody knows because they end the episode with nobody on the ship knowing what happened and the amazing adventure that RC and Grimlock had with everyone else in standby mode. So, and that's episode 17. Charles, your thoughts on this one?
I'm now officially shipping Grimlock and RC.
Okay.
This was a fun episode. I liked. I mean, we haven't seen very much of RC at all through this whole series, so giving her like a full episode in the spotlight was nice. I like the kind of shared history that they reference. Like, you get the sense that they've traveled a lot together and had all these previous adventures together, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just a really fun episode. And I like the little bit in the when they were trying to figure out how to power the ship, and then they start fighting each other, like who gets the honor to die for the ship, and they start fighting each other. I thought that was funny before they rescued Teletran X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just a really fun episode, and yeah, more RC in this series, please. She was cool,
especially badass RC. You know,
yeah,
with the big guns. You know, I like that. It looks so badass.
Yep.
Jeremy, what your thoughts?
This was probably one of my favorite episodes of the whole season.
Cool.
I really got an in-game vibe with them fighting over who would like basically use their spark to reboot the thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I really liked most about this episode is just the sense of history that the two characters have. Like they've gone on all these adventures together and been in all these battles and things together, because they just keep referencing things. And I thought that was nice to kind of, you know, like you said, we haven't had much RC in the series so far, but just to kind of prove she's been around and done stuff with these characters. I thought that was a really nice way of kind of building onto her character, because I think everyone already loves Grimlock. With the air hammers, I'm surprised you didn't realize it's based off of a Beast Wars toy. And here I put a link. It's a fuser.
I just forgot to mention it.
I didn't look that close.
No, I was looking through the wiki and I'm like, oh, hey, an actual toy. And looks like there was also reference.
That's not the one that they had. They had like a pterodactyl head.
Well,
the air hammer is the
it's a hammerhead shark.
Checks it. Yes, I know that, but the one in the show didn't have that head.
It did. Well, it was similar. It was a hammerhead shark head.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
about
sure.
that.
You're wrong.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Jeremy, rewind the tape.
I mean, I think they clearly meant to reference this, because Airhammer is not that common
yeah,
like a name to reference. So
right.
Yeah, but anyway, this was a fun episode. It was kind of wrapped up really quickly. We don't see how they power on the other Autobots, but I thought this was a great, you know, with as much as I thought that like that first one we looked at didn't have a lot to it. I thought this one did, and they both really accomplished. They didn't really move anything forward.
Right. All right. Well, that brings us to the last episode of season 2, episode 18. It's called The Crossroads. And if you've watched any Star Trek, you know what happens in this episode. This is the most Star Trek-y episode that there ever was. So, yeah, I watched a lot of Next Generation as a kid, and I've seen this episode about 4 times. So, so this episode starts off with Wheeljack claiming he fixed the space bridge, and they're going to fire it up.
But he's not a quintessent, so don't.
He's not a quintessent. No, the Autobot ship receives a message on their view screen, and it's from Chromia. So this is the first we've seen of Chromia, I believe. And so
she's been in the background in season 1.
Oh, has she?
Times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a message from Chromia saying, "Hey, you guys got to get here. You know, some shit's about to go down. We need you here." And Prime takes that as fire up the space bridge. We're going to go. So Wheeljack fires it up and they travel through, and they find themselves in what they're calling unspace. It's the space between point A and point B. So it's neither here nor there. That's where they are. And once they're in there, they can't really do anything, but they do get a message from another ship. It turns out to be another Ark. So they go to that position. They see that the ship is essentially adrift. They travel aboard it, and I almost said beam aboard it. This is so Star Trek-y. And they go and start looking around, and they find that, yeah, it's vacant and the ship is adrift. And as they're looking around trying to see what's going on, they find that the ship is starting to disappear. It is succumbing to the unspace, and it is becoming non-existent. So they need to get off of it. They end up just floating around in space, and then in the next scene, they're back on their ship. So I don't know how that happened, but they got back on their ship. So while they're talking about this, trying to figure out how they're going to get out of here, because if they just stay, they're going to die, or they're going to cease to exist. I guess it's a different way of putting it. Another Ark shows up in front of them, and then they start to converse with them. They find that they are almost identical to the other Ark. They even speak at the same time, which is kind of weird. But the one difference is that our team got a message from Chromia. Their team got a message from Perceptor. So there's one small difference, and they realize that everyone's from different time streams, and they're going to they're basically going to try and get out of here by working together. And they figure out that the way that they can do this is by trying to harness the power of the the Allspark, and 2 is not enough. They have a third one join, and it's captained by Rack and Ruin, which is funny as all get out. But so they try with 3 doesn't work. Then one of the ships ends up succumbing to the unspace and is no longer there. And then all of a sudden, a whole whack of ships show up, and they figure they're going to try with all of their Allsparks combined, and that works. So, yeah, they get out of the unspace, and immediately on the other side of the space bridge, they are presented with Cybertron. So they've made it. They've made it to their destination. But we are, as the episode closes out, we are shown that Chromia's message was sent not as a desperate plea for help, but actually as a ploy by Megatron to get them to come to where he needs them to be. And so Chromia is actually a prisoner of Megatron and being used to draw them into a trap. So that's the end of season 2. What do you guys think of the last episode here, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely the Star Trekiest Transformers episode I'd ever seen. I mean, it was fine. I think I was kind of, if you've seen a lot of Star Trek, it's kind of a little bit cliche storyline. So that, it just felt kind of, it's been done too many times for me. Mm-hmm. But just these 4 episodes taken together, I think even the one before this, like episode 14 too, these are all these little one-shot Star Trek like episodes where it's just like the Autobots traveling through space.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was fun, but it feels like you spent a lot of time on these episodes. Like, before that, we've got the Autobots and Decepticons fighting it out. They're fighting over the Allspark. They're fighting to leave the planet, and then you hit the brakes and just completely put that storyline to sleep while you just let the Autobots have fun throughout the galaxy. And then we have to wait till season 3 for the final battle that we thought we'd get at the end of this season. So that felt a little, I mean, I do like these episodes, but I just wonder why they chose to end the season like this, or, or if they were going to do this, extend the season a little bit longer. So then we get back to the Decepticons. I also don't like completely ignoring the Decepticons for 5 episodes.
Right.
So yeah, it's this final episode, just, it doesn't feel like a season finale. It feels like it, just a poorly placed cliffhanger, I guess. Yeah. And despite the fact that I really like these little one-shot episodes, I think we need more Decepticons.
Well, I mean, the fact that you don't think this is a season finale, I'm going to have to argue, because this was a season finale of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This was a 2-part season finale of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yes, that was it.
It's a great episode.
And yeah, but that's for another show. But the it's I agree with you on the part that we're getting a bunch of weird one-off episodes to end the season. And I personally agree with you that it would have been nice to kind of get a bit of a battle at the end, maybe in episode 19 where they kind of meet and something starts up. But yeah, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on episode 18 and season 2 as a whole?
I enjoyed it. I kind of wish that they would have thrown some more references in, like have, instead of one of them all being arcs, have one of them maybe be the Lost Light, where we don't actually see the crew, but you see the ship. That would have been nice. But I liked this. I also, as a big Next Generation fan, I kind of saw where it was going, but it was really fun to see them do this. And I thought it left on a great season ending cliffhanger where we're back on Cybertron and Megatron's taken over. What are they going to do? So I can see where season 3 can build on some of these things that they kind of left hanging. Like I could see them bringing Sharkticons in and the Titan and stuff like that in the battle with Megatron in season 3. I do think that overall season 2 probably had some laggy spots. And I think, season 1 had that too. It's got to be hard with these like shorter episodes, kind of getting your point across and, making the best use of the time and the budgets for like the voice actors that you have. But I don't know. I just kind of wish that it was a little bit tighter overall. But this was a very fun episode. I liked it.
I will say that individually, each of these 11-minute episodes, they do work. I mean, they work a lot better than I thought they would. Like, I didn't think, like, I still am a fan of the longer 22-minute episode for cartoons, but given that they were only given 11 minutes in each episode, each episode does have a beginning, middle, and end, and it's a complete story for the most part. I mean, that surprised me that they could do that pretty well with each of these episodes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I keep thinking though that I'm looking at it and I see this is episode 18, but if this were a regular show, it'd be episode 9, right? So yes, we're looking at 18 individual episodes at 11 minutes, but is it the same work that goes into 9 episodes of 22 minutes, right? I mean, there might be more work in this because you got to do a condensed story, right? But I would love 18 episodes of 22 minutes. Just the more content, the better.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna complain. I love what we're getting here. It's great stuff. It really is. So I can't wait to see what season 3 has to offer.
All right. Well, that is our last review of Cyberverse Season 2, the last 4 episodes. So let's move on to Transformers Media News.
All right. I guess this is me again. So in media news this week, we've got a couple things. Number one, a special event in Transformers Earth Wars is being run to benefit the Australia Fire Relief Fund, and that's a really good thing that they're doing. They're running a in-game event which is going along with other Space Ape games like Rival Kingdoms, Samurai Siege, and Fastlane Road to Revenge, and all the funds raised from these bundle purchases will go directly to the charities tackling the relief effort. So take a look if you're still playing the Earth Wars game or any of those other games, and if you see these bundles available, maybe think about picking them up. I do know that from probably from the time that this came out to the time of this recording, Australia did get a whole whack of rain, so that put out a bunch of the fires that they had going on there. That's but good. There are still some going on. So the rain that we were hoping for last week did come in the form of a big downpour. So we're really, really thankful for that. But they still need a lot of houses to be rebuilt. So take a look at some of these in-game specials, because Space Ape Games is donating a bunch of money. So next up, we've got Soundtrack Saturdays, Hasbro Studios music from the Transformers score. So we've got a bunch of stuff here if you're looking for some music to listen to. This was released on a vinyl release. Let's see here.
Yeah, it was the one that came out a year or so ago.
That's right. This is the Enjoy the Ride records. And this is the one that was released in a bunch of different colors. And had the G1 box art on the back, or looked like the G1 box art. It's kind of cool. But it's still available. You can still buy these right now. They're all second pressings though, not the first, the primo pressings. But so you can buy that. And lastly, Big Screen's VR Cinema is showing Transformers The Last Night this month. I'm not aware of this company or whatever they're doing, but apparently they give you a VR headset to watch a movie that's been out for a decade. And it looks like it's fun. I don't think the movie is in 3D though. It looks like you're watching it and the surroundings are in 3D.
No, this says Last Night in 3D format.
All right then. So. But what's this image? It looks like they're just watching.
You're at your house with a VR headset. But am
I watching me as an avatar watch the movie?
No, when you're sitting there, if you're seeing like seats in front of you and stuff, as if you were in a movie theater watching the movie.
Oh. Okay.
And it's in 3D, and you don't need any additional glasses beyond the VR headset.
So do they send me the VR headset to my house?
No, you have to have one.
You have to provide your own VR headset. The VR headset not included.
And they're going to charge me $4 to $5 to watch a movie that I might already have in my collection?
It's essentially however much it would be to rent the movie.
Gotcha. Oh, sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. And I guess today is the last day for it. Anyway, the day this podcast goes up, the 24th, is the last day.
If you do it, let us know how the experience was.
Yeah. All right, then. Sounds like fun. And that's it for media news.
All right. Well, let's finish up the show with convention news.
All right. I will start with a couple TFCon announcements. They have announced that Bob Budiansky is going to be attending TFCon Orlando 2020. He was the writer on pretty much the first half of Marvel G1. Gave all of your favorite characters their names, or pretty much most of them. Also attending will be Casey Collar, who is, I think one of my favorite artists from the last IDW run. He never gets enough interior work because of other responsibilities he has, but when he does, it's a great issue. Mm-hmm. So
he's been doing a lot of My Little Pony stuff just right recently, just for the hell of it, because his daughter really likes My Little Pony. So
yeah, and
I think he did a full issue actually.
Yeah, it looked great. So
yeah,
if he's there, tell him hi. Tell him we said hi, and that is it for TFCon announcements. Over at TF Nation, they have announced that Jim Sorensen, who was recently on our show here, he will be in attendance. He's going to be promoting Transformers: A Visual History. He will be, I'm guessing he's going to have a panel. We'll be signing books and stuff. So, be interesting to see what a panel, like what he would maybe show in a panel that what didn't make it in the book and stuff. I don't know if he's going to do that, but you know, he's no stranger to the UK conventions, so I'm sure they're happy to have him back. And that is it for convention news.
All right. And that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
All right. We also want to mention the merchandise on our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you want to pick something up there. Also, sorry, I'm going to.
Got to text your mom.
No. That was last show's excuse.
Oh.
I didn't mention the Donatreon support link, and that messed me up.
Oh,
anyway.
Fucking hate it when that happens.
Mom!
I didn't mention the Donatreon support link.
What's that link?
Mom,
she doesn't know.
Stop making fun of me. Mom, can you call their moms? They're making fun of me. Mom.
All right. Rewind and eject. Okay, here we go. And if you want to,
Mom, you're screwing me up, Mom.
Oh, my friends
John
are
C.
picking
Reilly
on me.
Can't do this anymore, Mom.
I'll just wait.
All right, it's out of my system for now. Just don't screw up again.
No promises.